Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, if you did not know, and today we're going to be starting a new series on my channel. We will be going over different actors or film studios movies that I've watched the entirety of, like 100% of their work, at least filmed. I just thought it'd be fun, and yeah, let's get into it. Today we are going to be starting this series off with Georgie Henley, who you may know as Lucy Pevensey from the Chronicles of Narnia trilogy. I'm not going to go into a full biography of her. The basics are just that she was born in 1995 and she is British. Alright? Got that? Let's get into the first movie. I just filmed for an hour and the footage didn't even save. So I'm having to refilm an hour's worth of footage. Me rambling about how good of an actress she is anyway, so... Okay. So, starting out, we have The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. This was Georgie's very first role, and she portrayed the youngest of the Pevensey siblings, Lucy Pevensey. Here she is right here. This was her in The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. The film came out in 2005. It was her very first film role. And I have to say, for it being her very first film role, she did very incredibly. She played off of the more experienced actors very, very well. I mean, especially considering she was 10, if I did that math right. She was born in 95, came out in 2005. She would have been 9 when they were filming it, so yeah, she would have been 10 when the movie came out. She did a very, very, very great job playing off of the more experienced and adult actors and the younger actors who played her older siblings, and also the actors that had to wear the green suits. They were playing, if they were playing Narnians. Like James McAvoy playing Mr. Tumnus, he had to wear a green suit for the fawn legs. She also did a very great job when there weren't actually animals there, like the beavers. You know, when they had to use the balls on sticks in place, like with the beavers and unicorns and all those. And this is one of my favorite movies. I grew up watching it. It's one of the most replayed DVDs. For those of you who don't know, it's an adaptation of a book by the same name by C.S. Lewis. It's in the Chronicles of Narnia book series. I rated it a 5 out of 5 stars because it is a flawless movie. The CGI for the time, considering it was the 2000s, the CGI for the time was top notch, especially what they had to work with at the time. Top notch. One of the best movies ever. Next up, we have the second in the Chronicles of Narnia trilogy. Georgie priest her role as Lucy Pevensey in Prince Caspian, which released in 2008. I give this film a 5 out of 5 stars, and this happens to be everybody's, well, not everybody, but most people's favorite of the 3 Narnia films. Mostly because of Prince Caspian, whose name I misspelled. Why didn't you tell me? So... I will admit this movie has flaws. It's not as good as the first one in my opinion, but it is one of my favorite movies. All of the Narnia films are some of my favorite movies. They are in my top 10. Considering we are talking about Georgie and her portrayals in these films, she did a very great job playing Lucy's naivety in this film. Lucy's back after 2,000 years, few hundred years, 2,000 years, one of the two. It's a 1 with a ton of zeros. It's 1 with more than 1 zero after it.
Where have you been for the last few hundred years?
Georgie is one of the best parts of these films. The way she portrays Lucy, perfection, which is a very strong thing to say, but her portrayal of Lucy is perfection, which is why she's one of my favorite actresses. I would like to say she is my girlfriend, but you know, she's not. But I'd like to say she is. Georgie, not Lucy. Lucy is a child in these movies. Talking about Georgie. She just utter perfection in these films. Her reaction to having to leave Narnia again at the end of the film with Regina Spektor's song The Call playing, just heartbreaking because she is a child leaving her home or where she feels at home most, and her older siblings can't return. She plays that like she's experienced it before. 5 out of 5 stars. is the final film in the Chronicles of Narnia trilogy, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Came out in 2010, and this was Georgie's final portrayal of Lucy Pevensey. This film, I did give it a 4 out of 5 stars, but it is one of my favorite films. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because it's not a very accurate adaptation of the book. But I do love rewatching it. It's one of my most rewatched films. I have a really funny story. It's very short, but I do have a funny story how I got the DVD and watched it for the first time. So I'm not going to focus very long on this because it is controversial due to the rating. It has a average 2.8 rating, I believe, on Letterboxd. But I also don't really want to focus too much on it because it is honestly just up for interpretation, or up to whoever you are, what you would rate it. But this was Georgie's final portrayal of Lucy, and at the end of the film, it does feel like it was less Lucy saying goodbye to Narnia, not being able to return again. I feel like it was less that and more Georgie saying goodbye to the character of Lucy because she would not return to play Lucy. Makes me very emotional, but it was also the end of an era, Chronicles of Narnia era. Netflix needs to hurry up with their adaptation. That's all I have to really say about this. Georgie played the role perfectly all the years that she portrayed Lucy. And in this film, they finally gave her a weapon that wasn't just a tiny little knife. She should have gotten a sword, but she did great with Susan's archery set. Next up, we have Perfect Sisters, a 2014 film, a 2014 very low budget true crime film. Georgie played the role of Beth Anderson, film alias of one of the very infamous Bathtub Girls. It's about two sisters. This is based on a true story, hence true crime, Bathtub Girls. It's about two sisters who got tired of living through their mom's cycle of abusive boyfriends, and her alcoholism, and nobody taking them seriously, so they finally took it into their own hands and killed their mom by drowning her in a bathtub. This movie has very terrible reviews. It has an average rating of 2.6, I believe, on Letterboxd. But it's one of my favorite movies. I love crime films, and this was Georgie's step away from family-oriented films, or family-targeted films. In an interview when promoting this film, she did say that it was a very big step for her, going from playing Lucy to playing a girl who helped her sister kill her mom. Georgie did a fantastic job in this film. She plays Beth with very accurate teenage angst. And it was also nice seeing her play a goth character. Like, Beth is meant to be theater kid goth, and she pulled it off very well, especially the black hair dye. One of my favorite films. Georgie did a fantastic job. I recommend it. It does not deserve the flack that it gets. However, I will say that reading some of the reviews from people who were around at the time that the murder took place, they apparently didn't portray it accurately. In the film, the girls were very upset and terrified, while allegedly in reality they were giggling and joking around in the courtroom. Other than that, it's a fantastic film. Definitely recommend. Next up, we have the Sisterhood of Night. It released in 2014 at the same time as Perfect Sisters. Well, a few months apart. You get it. Georgie played the role of Mary Warren, and you recognizing that name is not just a coincidence. The Sisterhood of Night is actually a modern retelling of The Crucible. It's an adaptation of a short story of the same name, I believe. If not the same name, it was an adaptation of a short story. Heard about or read or watched The Crucible, you have sort of an idea of what it's about. I have watched this movie I don't know how many times. It's free to watch on Amazon Prime. If you have a subscription to Amazon Prime, it's free to watch. You don't have to rent it or anything. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars, and last I checked, it had a 2.8 rating, average rating on Letterboxd. but when I checked to double check what I had last rated it, which was the 5 out of 5, it has a 3.0. It has a 3-star average. So I would like to think that I helped raise the average rating with the countless amount of times I have rewatched this movie. Yeah, basically, Georgie plays Mary's teenage angst and secretiveness very well. She plays Mary's insecurities about her relationship that she has, that she's keeping hidden very well, almost like she had to do it herself. I'm not alluding to anything, I'm just saying she plays it as if she has lived it herself, which, being a teenager at the time of filming this, I wouldn't blame her or put it past her to have experienced something similar. My back hurts. This is a controversial film, mostly due to how it was written and put together. It's one of my favorites. It's in my top 10. A lot of her movies are in my top 10. I definitely recommend this movie, and there's honestly not much I can say without spoiling everything. If you would like a spoiler-y review of this movie, let me know in the comments and I will make a video of it. I would love to make a video of reviewing this movie due to how many times I have watched it, but I don't know how well it would do because I don't know if people want that. So just let me know in the comments if you would like me to make a video reviewing this. Access All Areas, 2017 movie. Georgie plays the role of Nat, a very sexually active teenager who goes with her friends to a music festival on an island that they had to get to by a boat. She actually gets to play British in this film again. She hadn't played British in a film since Voyage of the Dawn Treader, so it was nice to hear her natural accent again. This is the weakest of the 8 films that she has been in. I did rate it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I did rate it a lot lower the first time I watched it because I did not like it. It grew on me a little bit the second time I watched it. I've only watched it 2 times. Every other film she's been in, I have watched more than 2 times, except for the last film we'll be talking about in this video. Yeah, Access All Areas. They go to a music festival on an island, and she is very sex obsessed. Her character, Nat, is. She is also really into drinking. She is hungover and drinking a lot in this movie. Really nothing else to talk about with this movie. It's just that's all to talk about with her role in it anyway. Her outfits were really pretty in it. I'll give her that. Her outfits and hair were very pretty in this. The costume department did a great job. Her makeup too. She played the role very well, a lot more mature, although she was playing a teenager again, so that much more mature. Nat is pretty immature in this. She's not even the main character in this, so yeah. She was one of my favorite parts in the movie, and that's pretty much it. The soundtrack is incredible. I love the soundtrack. I wish that they released it on Spotify because I would listen to the soundtrack all day if I could. She did sing a little bit in it, but it was at the end in a chorus of voices. I wish that she was allowed to sing solo at the least a little bit, but yep. Girl Sweet Voiced is a 2019 short film that Georgie was in. She played one of the 2 women in it. The role is literally just credited as woman. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. I have watched this, according to Letterboxd, I've watched it 4 times. I am fairly certain I've watched it more than 4 times. So she plays the role of woman. Girl Sweet Voiced is available to watch free on YouTube. It's like 9 minutes long. Definitely recommend it. It's one of my favorite pieces of media to ever be released. Top 5 easily. I could rewatch the short film a million times a day if I could. So basically, Girl Sweet Voiced. It's beautifully shot. The voice work in it, it has voiceover in it. Voice work in it, incredible. It's an English translation of Sappho's poetry being read by 2 women. It's an English translation of Sappho's poetry being recited by women at a bus stop as they meet for the first time and imagine falling in love with each other and making out. It's a very sweet, very tender short. Love it so much. Definitely recommend it. Georgie being in it felt very natural. It looked like it felt very natural for her, and she handled it with such care and love. It's admirable. You have to watch it. If you don't, you are severely missing out on beautiful cinema, beautiful queer cinema. Partygate, the most recent film that Georgie has been in. It was released on Channel 4, I believe, in the UK. She played the role of Grace Greenwood. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. It was released last year in 2023. So basically, this film was about how the Tories, the Conservative Party in the UK, made the rules and trade in the media of how they were going to handle COVID when it started up, and how they ignored the very rules that they made and continued to party, hence Partygate. Georgie's character was the only one with any sense. She felt terrible about what they were doing, and she was the only one still masking up whenever they went out. Yeah, so based on reality, based on actual stuff that happened, I really liked this, and it was very angering. Yeah, she's very proud of this, and some people are wondering if she and Skander Keynes, the guy who played Edmund in the Narnia movies, are still on speaking terms, considering he is a Tory and she is very much not. The way that they created the film, very, very amazing. They showed actual interviews and press coverage and cited every single source that they could from when all of this was leaked and revealed was happening. Georgie looked incredible in all of her costumes. She did a very good job at portraying Grace. Yeah, very great film. Definitely recommend it if you want to watch a piece of reality and get a little angry about how conservatives were handling COVID and are still handling COVID because it's still happening. So that'll be it. There is one more film with Georgie's name attached to it. A short film called Tide. Can't watch it anywhere. She directed and wrote it, and she, according to some reviews, had a small cameo in it. It was a queer short film, but can't find it anywhere to watch it. I have reached out to her asking if she was going to release it anywhere, but asked her if she was going to release it anywhere for people to watch it, but she never responded. She's famous, I'm not. Kind of makes sense on that, but I'd still really love to watch it. Didn't have the greatest reviews, but I had high hopes about it when I heard that she was making it, but I haven't found anywhere to watch it. But that'll be it for this video. If you liked this format and want me to do this again, just let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've watched any of these movies, let me know what you thought of them. Let me know if this convinced you to watch one of her movies that you were maybe thinking about but were putting it off, or weren't initially open to the idea of, but this convinced you to. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!